Hello, guys. This is Apple Treats, and we have a special episode for today. It's, you might understand that it's related to International Women's Day. And this is the first episode where we have guests, and we have Sitora and Sveta who are joining us today for this discussion. And we probably skip the news for these weeks, and there are not too much news, to be honest, and we will cover them in the next episode. And today we will talk a little bit about the women in IT, and we would probably want to have some real-world stories here. And we will start with Arina. And
So I became an engineer, I think, in a pretty natural way. In high school, we have informatics lessons, and actually, my teacher was a woman. I liked these lessons. I was successful in it, and I just decided to enter the University of Informatics and Radio Electronics. So it was pretty straightforward way to become a software engineer. And actually, my first job was Java developer. It was maybe, 13 years ago or 14. At some point, I bought an iPhone and decided I want to do it for it something. And this is how I became an iOS engineer.
So do you still like the coding for the iPhones or iPads?
Yes, I'm enjoying it. Actually, I'm a visual girl or guy, and I like to see the result, but I'm not limiting myself on it. If there is some server job is needed, I'm pretty okay to do it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Sitora, can you start? Tell us your story, how you get into IT and to iOS development.
Yes, I think my story is similar to Irina's story. We had informatics lesson in high school. Also, it was around 8 to 10 years ago. So at this time in VK, there were groups and they had menu. So it was like, so you can create menus, and it was like simple coding. And I tried it, I liked it. And then I moved to Wikipedia. I think for now I know it was pretty easy, but I felt like I'm superhero. I can do something and I can see result. And then we had informatics lesson. We had HTML. So I tried, I liked it. And then we had Pascal language in high school. And it was pretty simple for me. I liked it. And I'm not sure why, but I felt like this is what I want to do in my life. So I joined university. I moved to St. Petersburg and joined Informatic University, ITMO University, and I think it was around 3 years ago, I joined EPAM, iOS courses, and I started to work as an iOS developer.
Okay. And Sveta, can you share us your story?
Yes, I have quite different story. So I'm not a programmer, I'm a civil engineer. And when I was a student, my friends joined a company which were based in Saratov, and they became quality assurance engineers. So I thought that that's a good idea. I want to join them too, and that's how I became a quality assurance engineer. And I have been working as a QA for 5 years. Last year I decided to change my specialty to iOS developer, and I have ability to take a big vacation, and after this vacation I have ability to be interviewed on an iOS developer position. So right now I am an iOS developer, and I'm really happy because I can create something for myself. I can create mobile application which personally I can use, and That's like a magic.
I actually came to mobile development with the same thing, like basically when you can do something which is on your phone and you can bring it with you. That's probably was the big exciting thing for me at that time. And well, you all shared the same, well, not the same, but similar stories, and it looks like everything was pretty fine, and there were like nothing stopping you from getting into. Is it typical to be an female engineer for the like in development, or did you see something like something which might be changed in the industry or somewhere?
I definitely there are less of women engineers than men, but I think it's not of the some problems in the industry. Maybe girls really more often want to be study languages like English, not like, for example, Ruby or Swift. So, in terms of taking a choice, I don't see there are a lot of limitations here. Yes, I agree. There are countries where traditional culture like limits a woman of getting an education, and there are problems and really some investment needed to help this woman to get job and education. But there are some cases here, but they are very rare and not make a whole picture. But in other, for example, industries, I've heard stories that there are problems like an architecture. My friends who studied at the universities architecture university, architecture of buildings, not applications. So this industry has, they told, some problems with women that like to make a career or something like that. But I think that we have what we have. It's not like some occasionally happened. Our society is pretty prepared from Soviet Union, not because it was about women's rights. It was about I don't know, working units and human resources. They did step away of religion and traditional culture, and like tavarish is gender free. It as a woman or man. So maybe in this point, our society is pretty prepared here. But yes, there are cases. Where I've heard in the university in some other specialties, they do have teachers who didn't like girls and don't want them to pass any exams and did such things.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of terrible to hear. And Sitora, Sveta, do you have something to share?
Yeah, I suppose that we don't see so many girls in IT because girls maybe have a softer character, and they can think that they weren't able to cope with technical things, and we don't have so many examples of women in IT, and they can think, what I will do in IT? Why do I need to go to IT at all?
Do you think we can change something here? I mean, in terms of how we react to that, or is there some? Well, I don't think we will have any like simple solution right now. But do you think something we can start with?
I think that we can start to share our stories, and maybe some of girls will see it and will think, maybe that's a good idea to start with IT, to start coding. That's not a rocket science, and I can do it too.
Yeah, true. By the way, just for like maybe make some encouragement, can you share like what you do as a developer? So what are your what kind of applications do you create? Well, yeah, we all know we can't share too much here. We are working at EPAM, and that's a service company, so we kind of limited in terms of describing everything. But at least you can share some nature of your work and of challenges you face when you develop something.
So I have been working for 13 or 14 years. I think I did too much to say it in one sentence. So it was for sure e-commerce applications, health and fitness, travel, and so it was pretty like wide stuff of things that I did. But now, like I'm on a maternity leave. I do another project.
Yeah, and you basically did it all. I mean, in terms of being a successful developer, and you still you're spending your time with family and still being technical. I mean, you joined us in this podcast as a host. So, and by the way, thank you for that. And Sveta, you are kind of new into development, as you said. So, what are you doing right now? Just like
Yes, right now I'm working on a beauty project. I'm doing something for the company which are trying to make us beauty and to create some beauty things like creams, like cosmetics, and I'm creating UI application for them with animations with interesting UI and something like that.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. And Sitora, I believe you have something interesting to say here as well.
Yes, also I would like to say a couple words about women's way in IT because my way wasn't really smooth. So I was raised in not in a big city, and with my family was tradition family. So when I told my family that I want to be software engineer, so I faced with troubles. For example, our father left us when we were kids, so we were raised by uncle. And my uncle told me like it's not for women. You can go here because this like it's a man's world. IT is a man's world, and like you can't find a husband because all guys wear glasses, and it's not a good way to find a husband. And they just didn't understand that I don't want to find a husband. I want to be a software engineer. And when I was in high school, when I told my principal, my teacher that I want to pass informatics exam, so they were like, "You can't because like you're a girl, it's not for you." So they were mean to other guys. We chose informatics, and at the end we had exactly the same, like point to point, the same result. And my principal, when we in the last day, she was hugging me like, "Wow, you did it!" I always know that I can do it. So I think a lot of girls, they want to do it, but they stopped when they try. Like when they start their journey, they can be stopped by their families, maybe by their teachers. For example, in my middle school, when we had informatics lesson, there were like a rule. So guys go informatics and girls, they go to clean school or decorate school and something like this. So they don't even have a chance to know how interesting it is, and they don't have a chance to try it. And I think that's the biggest problem. But when I moved to St. Petersburg, when I joined ITMO University, and when I joined EPAM, it's much better because it's a big city, and around me really good guys, really good girls, and it's good. But I'm feel really sorry for girls who had a chance. Maybe they liked it, but they were unable to even start their journey in IT.
Yeah,
it sounds like smaller cities has really problems because, like, I'm living in Minsk all my life. It's maybe small country, but still capital. Listening to your story, like, sounds a little bit wild for me. So I will be like really disappointed if my uncle would say something like this when I was young. And if you're young, you have a lot of impressions. For example, if now somebody says that I'm not agree or not satisfied and don't really care of it, but when I was like 17 or 18, it would affect me much.
Yes, I agree, because when you're teenager, when you're like 15, 16, 17, it can really change your life. It can affect you, because some people, they need support of their family.
True, and it's actually quite great that you were able to overcome this, let's say, attitude towards your profession from your family, and you actually did it into IT. And you work on the beauty products as well, but kind of different one, right?
Yes, I'm working on virtual try-on products, so it's product with augmented reality, so you can apply some products to your face and see it. Maybe if I can't say more because we are under agreement.
Yeah. We're kind of limited in terms of what we can say and we can't. Right, but again, just to make some sum up here, and you both like you all work on kind of like sophisticated projects. Some require much animation, some require augmented reality. And Irina, you like had a lot of projects in the past as and they were also quite complicated. And like just for all of who are listening and watching us, like these are big projects, and well, I'm glad to work with you on some of those, and it is really interesting to see that we can create some great stuff here, and I would like to see more like girls coming to IT, because it's well, it might be interesting for you to join. And I would like to talk one more thing here. We're talking about your path into IT, but I would also like to ask you about your perception of the industry in terms of as a users. We all use smartphones right now, so it's something like which is our common commodity, I would say. So everybody has a smartphone. Well, not everybody, but most of people, and we use applications. We see like how applications change our lives. And do you see that these apps are taking women into account, and if it's a good way or not? I mean, do you have any idea if this is going into right direction, or we see something strange happening there as well?
Well, I think it's better than it was maybe 2 or 5 years ago, and it might not be a big problem in English apps because, for example, in Russian language, everything has a gender. So, sometimes apps they talk to you as you're a man, so they use man's gender, even if you're a woman. And I think I don't want to say that it's like a huge problem, but it's a problem, and it would be nice if they can try to change it somehow. I know it's complicated because of nature of our language.
Well, yes, but again, even if it's a problem, we can solve it, right? I mean, it's something what we do as developers, and we probably might need to see that more often. I mean, in terms of either you might choose your gender while you're setting up your account or something like that, or app might like be more generic in terms of addressing you. But still, I mean, I believe this is a true problem. I mean, I was reading some descriptions for the apps and some like app interfaces, and it's always like user is considered as he, and that's also happens in English apps as well. I mean, I believe like our English is even more specific in this, but English language also has the same problem when user is like considered he, and that's probably should be changed some way. And like there are a lot of ways of pronounce, and probably we might expect that app should take that into consideration when addressing the user. Do you see anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that there are lots of application in app stores that are targeting women. So each much more such applications that have specific women target than men, but their content are not really prepared or organized or considering that is woman using it. For example, fitness apps, they just want to do some marketing and trigger, oh, you want to get slim, you need to buy it or to download it, but they don't really take into account specific of woman's body. For example, they just do it in pink colors. But women and men's body are really different, and there could be a specific of exercises and in different ages, like younger, older, and so on.
Right. So it seems that we see some apps targeting women, but only as a promotional part of that. So they are not actually crafted for women. They probably might use some pink colors and I do believe that pink colors is not favorite color for every girl and women, right? Woman. And I also hear that some women and girls, they hate pink, and that might even be worse to have it in that. But they actually do not take specifics which required for into account. So we see apps which basically it's almost the same as gender indifferent apps. So they basically are the same, but they are just colored different ways, and that's not what probably one would expect from the application. That's something I think need to be changed again. I mean, if we want to make applications for women, they probably should be more thought of. And again, women developers might help here. I mean, it's easier to understand what is required if you are from that gender, and probably men will not be able to do that properly. And again, that's at least my opinion here. And
I have a story here. So once we participated at a hackathon. It was car retailer, so they have for dealers offers, and actually at that moment I didn't have a car and didn't drive, but as all the people in our team, so we didn't drive all, but we won this hackathon. So studying and opportunities here, it could be, for example, a fresh eye. But it was a story not really connected, but for example, for building an app for women, I think for any other app, it should be some UX and research job. Maybe yes, engineers can influence here, but so it should be on a more higher level.
Well, yeah, I mean the team should have women there, and but I have a feeling that engineers actually can influence the development. I mean, we can challenge managers' decisions sometimes. I mean, in terms of we can say that this is probably not right. We can do that better. And more women we have on the team, we have more opinions to hear, and we can see more happening in terms of making the app better. And again, I think this shouldn't be only for apps which are targeted for women. I mean, we definitely need girls on all apps we create, because we typically have apps which are used both by men and women, and that's why we will probably need this opinion in every team. That will help the success of the app, and that probably will help the team itself. I mean, it might make the communications within the team better.
I don't think that diversity is a good thing for engineer levels. So I think so maybe diversity is a good for some management level. They also have some KPIs Yes, but different culture or experience could help them to discuss also. But for engineers, is the main thing. It's not. It's like engineering level, not like some cultural specific knowledges or like unusual interests and so. So engineering is pretty uh, can be measured better than
Right.
like example.
But what I'm trying to say here, I would like to see more female engineers. I mean, that's something I would want to see more. I mean, it probably we still can measure, and we should have the same requirements. That's something again I would agree. But seeing more diverse teams probably will help with the communication within the team. I mean, I saw a couple of men-only teams with the quite toxic atmosphere there. So it's something like when you even like being men, you wouldn't want to be on that team. And I hope, and I'm not sure if that definitely helps, but I hope that if you see like more diverse teams, you will see more friendly discussions and more friendly communication within the team. I don't know if that really like truly works, or we have any true studies which will definitely show that this is happening. But I think that's something we can try and we can see if that really works. My like anecdotal experience shows that that's true. That happens. That changes the team. How the team behaves and change for the better. So that's my experience. But I don't know. I mean, again, I didn't see any studies which show like if it really persists or that's like definitely in like many cases, but it seems so at least.
I have a story on this topic. So maybe 2 years ago, I was only one girl in a working room, and I remember that my colleagues, boys, said that if there will not be any girls, we will be more aggressive and more toxic. And right now we are trying to be more soft because of you, and that's pretty interesting. So we can. That's a good idea to have some diversity in our working teams.
I'm agree with Sveta, but also I would like to mention that as a woman, I don't want to have like a special like I'm not going to like, for example, I had experience when one of my colleagues told that he don't want to swear when I'm in the room because I'm a girl. But I feel it's like I know he meant he wanted to do good thing, but I think I don't want to have like special. Okay, here you're a girl, so I'm not going to swear when you're here. I'm not going to swear anyway, or I'm going to swear even if you're here.
I think that's maybe. You're right. I mean, again, I probably would want to work in a team where nobody swears. Well, at least at work, and like, but not because there are girls there, but because that's normal. And if we see more diverse team, that becomes normal. And in that case, people will like be more polite generally. And I think that might change over time. I mean, in terms of like people who were more rude to each other, they will be avoiding that, and that will be just because of somebody in the team. But then they will stop doing that just because that's a good thing to do. I mean, that's probably like something which might happen over time. At least I hope so. Again,
I don't know. It can become a habit, and we
Right.
need to use to it.
And before we wrap up, I would like actually mention one article I read recently that I would like your opinion on actually. So there was a study in one college in US, and they discovered that almost 40% of students are now suffering problems with the sleep due to the fact that they are too connected to their phones. So they see that as an addiction to their smartphones and the apps, and that's affecting their life. What do you think? Is it really a problem which you can see like in your life somewhere, like maybe some of your friends spending too much time on the phone, or and it affects their life, I mean, in a bad way, or it's even you like see like you need something to like put off the phone for some time. Is it something like truly a problem, and can we as developers do something here?
I think it's not about developers because in general we just do our work. So if we have our startup and we can create something by ourselves, yes, we can think about. But when we do some tasks, then I think it's out of our responsibility. But and also I think it's about yes, again it's about responsibility. And I think all companies, not only IT companies, they should think about like what they're doing. For example, big companies which pollute with a lot of plastic bags, and they should think about it. They should do something about this. And IT companies, I think they should think about this, like maybe try to do something. But as a developer, I think it's out of our responsibility when we work for a company. If we don't like, we can leave company.
Or at least highlight that to higher management. I mean, that's also an option sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But also, I think a couple days ago, I read an article about one of big companies. They create games and they have psychologists because they want people to be addicted to their games. So their goal to make people addicted. And I don't think if you as a developer say it's not good, they will say, oh yeah, you're right, let's stop it. Because their goal to make people addicted.
Yeah, well, in that case, probably as a developer, you could leave if you disagree with that, right?
There are some movements now for digital health, actually some technical decisions for this, like muting your iPhone for sleep mode and so, or some time management applications or platforms that helps you to organize yourself. Because it was not one people that I saw that like, oh, I'm doing something important here. Oh, yes, and I'm looking. Oh, what is he is doing? Oh, he's just looking TikTok videos. Staying for a long time just with a very busy face. Oh, 1 second. So I think it could be really a problem, but some maybe reminders or any time management tools can help. Or maybe, yes, some application can take a responsibility on themselves of taking people healthy in this digital area.
Yeah, but you personally see that as something like as a growing problem, or it's not yet? I mean,
if I wouldn't say it such a problem as a gambling. Maybe it's more under the human control, but yes, people can lose some spices or of something that really happens around. But maybe it's not so harmful. But yes, yeah, I don't know.
Sveta, do you have something?
Yes, I partially agree with Sitora. So that's not a good thing that companies are interested in addiction of end users. And maybe as a developer, we can say that that's not good and we will leave this company if it's proceed with such things. But I suppose that that's not a problem of programmers. That's a problem of a person who are using games, who are gaming, who are using smartphones, and maybe as a person I have such problems, such addiction too, and I need to control it as a person, but not as a programmer, because as a programmer I need to create application which will be beautiful and wonderful, and end user will want to use this application constantly. So we need to decide what we need to do for as a person or as a developer.
Yeah.
Actually, I remembered that Instagram, for example, removed one their feature because they said that it harmful for mental health. It was feature like some history of actions of your friends who liked something like this. So they said that it was harmful for mental health of users and removed this feature. So some companies do think about this. From one hand, they really want to involve in the application, so retention and such KPIs. But if something they really think is not good, big companies do this step away.
On my side, I would say that I would probably want to see this as a trend in the industry. I mean, like companies starting to think about this as a problem and making steps into like limiting amount of time you spend on the app and like not making your game too addictive. I mean, well, we see something happening there, but yes, Sitora and Sveta, you're probably expressing it correctly. As a developers, we want to make something amazing. I mean, something which will be like used a lot. But on the other side, as the users, we wouldn't want to have something which requires our attention constantly, like Tamagotchi in the past, right? Which was like troubling everything, and you had to do something. And by the way, it was a problem for some people. I mean, like this small toy which was introduced some years ago, and it was a problem for some of people who are too addicted to that, and they like lost their sleep and so on. And as we see from this study, like 40% of all students, I mean, like yes, it's not the whole population, and that's not like a general study which covers all ages and all demographics. So, but still, that's a lot, and I think, well, I mean, as a developers, we might at least highlight something, like saying, like, probably this is too addictive. Like, let's consider other options. And maybe if more of the developers will be thinking about that, more managers will start thinking about that, and more apps will be more polite to our digital health. And at least I hope so. Again. It's something we try to do. We work on that, but sometimes we fail. Yes, that's also happened, and I just hope we will succeed in that. And I think that would be it for today. And first of all, I would like to thank all of you for coming here and sharing your stories on your way into IT. And I really hope that will inspire somebody to join IT programs and start, even like we can switch to IT if you were not an IT person before. So that also happened. And Sveta, your story here is more interesting. I think like you're going through QA and then to the development. That's, I believe, very, very nice to see. Would you like to tell somebody, to our viewers and listeners, like
Happy International Women's Day.
Probably. Yeah.
It would be good if we can inspire somebody, and happy Women's Day.
Welcome to IT and happy International Women's Day.
Yeah, and from my perspective, we would try to make industry a little bit friendly, and I mean less toxic. We are doing something into that direction, and I hope it will be like there will not be a problem to join an IT for anybody, and there will be no need to inspire girls to join an IT. I hope we will get into that someday. And as of now, yes, happy International Women's Day, and thank you for coming. We will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thanks.